All right, let's start with Raw.
Yeah, Raw did a 1.821
Not
on
bad.
Monday.
Yeah, because they were 1.6 something the week
Yeah, it was
before.
up a little bit.
Yeah, they had Logan Paul on this week, so I think he was a little bit of a draw. All right, so let's start the show. I thought this was a very well written show. For the simple fact that they start off hot, where Rollins is in the ring and he's got his arms out, accepting the singing of the fans, and Balor jumped him from behind and beat the piss out of him, and gave him 3 coups de grace on the floor from the steps and everything. And bro, you can tell that they're far more structured and lay things out better when they do beatdowns in WWE than they do in AEW. This was a good-looking beatdown. What'd you think of this, Konnan?
Yeah, it was a real good-looking beatdown, and what I liked about it is that it was a good opening segment, different, out of nowhere. You know how you and me love that out of nowhere shot that I've been using in Mexico now?
Oh, really? Yeah, because you can't see the guy coming. It just goes up.
Great.
Right.
You're like, holy.
Yeah.
Right. And so so when that happened, which I didn't expect, I expected a long promo with the singing, and then no, boom, and they throw you for a swerve. He got a huge ovation when Seth came out. By the way, this was very well done. I liked the beginning.
It was a different type of beginning. I like I just said, that it started off hot,
and
then they go to backstage, right?
No. So then Miz comes out.
Okay. No, they go backstage.
They go backstage.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's
Rollins. Yeah, right. Okay, right. Rollins was shown wincing while looking for Balor backstage while Pearson trainers walked, and then Balor attacked him from behind again.
That was great.
Right, he put his foot over Rollins' throat and held the title while telling him he's been waiting 7 years for this. Now, this made perfect sense because Rollins was going to come out and issue an open challenge. And Balor said, I don't know. You're not going to I won. I've got the match and everything like that. So the logic.
And then here's what was great. They were doing the typical backstage. He's going to the hospital. They're walking him to show that he's injured. And then boom, this guy comes out of nowhere, which I did not expect.
Right.
So very well done.
Right. And then they're selling that he's going to be wrestling Braun Breaker on Tuesday too. So what's going to happen to that match, right?
And then he does a promo later on talking about it.
Yeah, we will. Okay, but we'll get to that. So then Miz comes out, and he's pissed because he says that he was going to challenge. He was going to challenge Rollins for the open challenge and win the title.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So
right.
So he's mad that he's not going to be the champion. So then Ciampa comes out. So he said he's going to issue his own open challenge. So Ciampa comes out. He thinks Ciampa's coming out to be buddies with him again, but instead Ciampa comes out and knocks. He's mad at him. They're just basically not a squash, but just a very decisive win in 3 minutes and 50 seconds for Ciampa. And he didn't look bad. He looked pretty good here, actually. He's undersized, but his work is pretty physical for his size.
Yes, I agree. I actually like his work better than Gargano's. But anyways, this shows how valuable Miz is. That he's almost bulletproof, and why he's as valuable as anybody in that company, because he always loses, he shows ass, and he gets his heat back. They brought Ciampa back, and obviously they were together, so they kind of had a storyline. But what do? Let's get Miz, beat him like in less than 5 minutes, beat him clean. And Miz is the perfect guy with getting guys over because he'll stay over,
Right. All right.
And you can have a good match with him and good promos.
Right.
For all of 2023, The Miz has lost every match that he's had.
Right.
Yeah.
Big deal. Right. And he still has his heat.
Yep.
So the Judgment Day came out, and they remained on the stage, and Balor took credit for Rollins' open challenge being canceled. He said the fans like Rollins' entrance song so much they could sing it at his funeral. Ripley said Dom will take down Cody Rhodes, and Priest spoke in Spanish and then said the Money in the Bank briefcase would come with him. He said the contract inside would have his name written all over it, and Priest said Cody Rhodes should keep Dom's name out of his mouth, and the Judgment Day would make sure Cody can't fight anyone ever again. Then Dom took his turn again and got booed out of the building when he tried to speak again, and finally yelled over the fans by saying Cody would get a preview of what he would do to him at Money in the Bank if he could find 2 wrestlers to face Judgment Day later in the show. So what they've done now is, and this is why I like the show, they've created a thread that is going to go throughout the show. We don't know if Rollins is going to be okay to have his open challenge tonight, whatever, and now he's challenged Cody to a match and go find 2 partners. Okay.
Right.
Then they showed the recap of the bloodline angle.
Let me just say about this segment. This was basically to set up a trios match later on in the show. Dom had to literally scream to be heard, which I like, so he still has that good heat. And I thought Zayn and Owens were funny here.
Well, so Zayn and Owens, this is another thread they create for the show. So Zayn told Owens, so Owens took issue with, so Byron Sexton asked about the bloodline again, and Owens took issue with Saxton asking Zayn about the bloodline because he says it's getting aggravating. Why do you always ask about the blood? I'm sick of the bloodline. He starts snapping again, right? And Zayn told Owens he didn't want to do it here, but they need to talk because it's enough. So basically, Zayn told Owens he has an anger problem, and Owens was in denial. And Zayn said that if Owens could make it through the night without a tantrum, then he wouldn't bring it up again. But if he had an outburst, then Owens would have to concede that he has a problem. Owens agreed and walked away. Zayn told Saxy, who's sorry he had to see that. It's been 20 years of this, So this is like,
That was hilarious.
Yeah,
Plus, it set up for him 2 times later on in the show, trying to hold his temper. So this was great.
They set up a thread. Right. Okay.
Right.
So then Chelsea. So they showed the video. I sent you guys that video. Did you see it, by the way?
Yeah, it was great.
Okay, yeah. Our buddy Borash produced that. So basically, they produced it's a TikTok video that somebody made about Chelsea Green, and she's a total Karen. It was actually very funny. I would tell people go on.
They showed it during the show, didn't they?
Yeah, right. Yeah, they showed it during the show. That's the next segment. I would suggest everybody, if you miss this, you go on the internet. It's like a minute and a half long. It's actually very entertaining. So then Chelsea and Sonya Deville take on Caden Carter and Katana Chance. I didn't see this because it didn't make it to Hulu. But Caden Carter, Katana Chance beat them in 2 minutes and 5 seconds. They don't really give the women a lot of time anymore. You notice that?
Bro, and here's the other thing. I can't believe they put these girls who have very little promo time, and really they're kind of like bite size, like, those little Halloween candies. They're really small. They had some nice double team moves, I will just say that, but they're just moves with no logic. It looks like a lucha match. They're just doing moves to be doing them. Like, look, we can do it. The other two, to me, are way more polished, and I believe they have way more upside. I can't believe they got big clean like this, like in 2 minutes. I don't think established stars like them should be getting like kind of squashed like that. I didn't think this was good booking here. I understand you need to push these girls, but I don't think.
I think they're pushing the wrong girls.
Yeah,
right. Exactly.
It's almost like they're pushing the wrong team here, right?
Yeah. Sonya's established, like you said, and Chelsea's really on the come up. I would expect them to win.
I just thought of this. This show was filled with a lot of interview time, and there was a lot of matches that they had been building up, right?
Right.
I wonder if the show was so full, there's a lot of stuff going on in the show. So Cody comes out for an interview, and then they just stop him at the entranceway, like he comes out of the entranceway. Yeah, this was very
quick, yeah.
And she comes up and interviews him and questions him about the hey, do you want to, basically you've been challenged to a match and stuff. Who do you want? Who's going to be your partner? So I guess I got to find a couple partners. Now I think the reason they want to do this is because they didn't want to waste the time. It'd probably be an extra 2 to 3 minutes of showtime it would take for Cody to go from his entrance to the ring and leave. Mm-hmm. And
they should have just done it backstage.
And the same thing. No. I think they wanted the pop. Right. I think they wanted the fan pop in the crowd. Okay, and I think they wanted the fan heat from the Judgment Day. Like they wanted the fan, this is an over baby face in one of your top heel groups, and they wanted the fans in the arena to respond to them live talking. That's why they brought him out to the entranceway, but didn't waste the time bringing him to the ring. And plus, too, what they were saying in the promos didn't merit an in-ring promo for Cody. She was just asking him, "Hey, they challenge you. Who are you going to take? Who are you going to face?" Right. So, this is very. You could just tell this is they put a lot into the show, and it's a go-home show for the pay-per-view. So they probably put a lot of thought into this, and the decisions.
Pay-per-view is the following week.
It is the following week. I thought it's this week.
No, Forbidden Doors this week.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So then I didn't see this.
July 1st.
Our boys got it squashed after they attacked him and beat them up last week, and there was no match. Veer Mahan and Sangha wrestled Cedric Alexander and Sheldon Benjamin here and beat him in 2 minutes 50 seconds. I didn't see this. Did they look good?
Bro, I didn't like this because they gave a little bit of offense to Cedric Alexander and which I don't have any. But if you're gonna have these guys over strong and squashing people and beating people in 2 minutes, make it a squash, not a wrestling match. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
right.
I'm not necessarily happy about the guys that got squashed. Can't you use some local guys or something? Shelton and Cedric are very talented guys. So this
but if you're gonna do it, I just think go all the way and squash them. If but I would have picked somebody else too.
Yeah. So backstage, they showed Owens and Zayn walking by, and a guy spilled water on Kevin Owens accidentally, and everybody thought that Owens would blow up at him, and he kind of held his cool. But then Riddle showed up, and he's been annoying Owens everything. And he was like ready to snap here, and basically he just didn't, and basically hyped his match against Ludwig Kaiser coming up. This is actually very entertaining. So then Logan Paul is introduced, and this is very well shot because he's on top of the ladder in a darkened arena, and the only thing you can see is him and the 2 suitcases. He played to the crowd by saying it's always great to be back in Ohio, and he continued to butter up the fans by saying the best people in the world come from Cleveland. He listed LeBron James, Jerry Lawler himself. But he said he looks back on the moments that made him great. He determined that they started when he left. When the fans booed, Paul told them not to and said he's the best they have. Paul said Cleveland can't stop losing. He pointed to his brother's boxing loss, his own WrestleMania loss, and The Miz losing earlier in the show. Paul said he would single-handedly put respect back on the city's name because I called the executors, and your boy got a special invitation. Paul announced that he would be competing in the Money in the Bank ladder match. He said that he would win the contract, cash in, and take the title from whoever he wants whenever he wants. So then Ricochet basically came out and said the only reason you're famous is I made you famous. I made you viral at WrestleMania or at the Rumble. And said he doesn't care how Paul got in the Money in the Bank ladder match because it doesn't change his game. It won't stop him from winning. Then Nakamura comes out, and he cut a promo. And then LA Knight comes out. He got a good pop. He said Ricochet and Nakamura is useless as basketball cleats. I thought that was a funny line. He mocked Paul for making videos for 14-year-old girls and thinking he's a superstar. Then he held up a map, and it was show Paul where he could stick his bottles of Prime. This is very entertaining. Then Santos Escobar came out, and he spoke of empty promises and lies. And he said he was standing tall and would represent the LWO. Then Butch came out, and he just ran right at Paul and punched him and started a brawl, which is perfect for his character, right? So everything was good here. This is a very entertaining segment, and it ended with Paul. Ricochet was going to do a springboard. Paul punched him in the face, and then dove on him and Ricochet and landed perfectly on his feet. Got good fire there, and somebody handed him the Prime drink, and he drank it and spit it up in the air, and he was definitely the star of the segment. But LA Knight did good too. This is a good segment, I thought. What'd you think?
Just a lot of guys talking. The only guys that were decent were Paul and LA Knight. I thought it was great because this is what his character would do when the Butch guy just came in and started punching him.
Right.
That was fucking great. But I'm thinking, bro, just because of all the time they're giving Paul here, I have a feeling I'm thinking they want Paul to go over because of the buzz it will generate. Because Knight won't generate the mainstream buzz, even though he'll be the most over guy in the match. Right? This good for what it needed to be.
It's 2 thought processes that like if we were in this room, these are the conversations we'd be having. Who's going over? And you would be arguing for you could argue for Paul why, you could argue for LA Knight why, you could argue for Priest why, because he's got the angle with Balor and stuff. This is so like I said, there is a lot of intrigue on who's going to win.
Which is good.
Right? It's very good because they got good storylines going here, and it's so much easier when you have episodic storylines going and as opposed to just randomly throwing they're doing the Owen Hart tournament coming up in AEW. It's like I saw the matchups and the names. Like this one matchup would be intriguing, but it's not really, I don't know. So they had Gunther versus Matt Riddle. You know what Riddle's problem is? he's a former UFC guy, but when he was throwing the kicks, he was throwing them like he was trying to take care of the guy. He didn't want to hurt him. Like he needs to be a little bit more physical with his work, I think. Would you agree with that?
Is, but no. He was weak with the kicks, but he's usually physical. He'll suplex you, and he's very physical, believe it or not.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Matt Riddle goes over, and after
even in this match, bros, some of his strikes, not the kicks. You're right. Some of them he pulled them. They look stiff. The suplexes look bomb. Like he brings it. Yeah.
Right. So after the match, Gunther entered the ring and took some kicks from Riddle before tripping him, and then Kaiser attacked Riddle and held him in place while Gunther grabbed his leg and drove his knee under his ankle multiple times. That's actually very creative. A beatdown after the match where he was hurting Rollins. He's hurting his leg. So then two trainers were helping Riddle. He's like limping backstage and he's selling good.
Mm-hmm.
Then Owens and Zayn were there when Gunther and Kaiser interrupted, and Owens got flustered. And Kaiser said the same thing happened to Riddle would happen to them if they're not careful. If they're not careful, and Owens got riled up and said Kaiser's long-winded and needs to get to the point. Zayn showed on Owens something on his phone and said they had something to take care of. So they had a phone call and they left. I would have, you know what I think they missed here? I think Gunther and Ludwig Kaiser should have whispered something like in a very low tone voice that says, "Yeah, I go like mention something like, hey, if we keep on Owens, he's gonna crack." Right. Like they should to tell the story let's keep trying to aggravate this guy because he's gonna snap, you know.
Right.
I would have put that verbiage in there at the end because the out was like I thought it would have been a better out on that. This did not make it to Hulu. Alpha Academy. So they had a coaching section earlier in the day where Maxine Dupree while Otis was Gable had a coaching session for Maxine Dupree. So they're coaching Dupree while Otis stood by, and Gable and Happy Gilmore and everybody say it's all in the hips. I guess, was this funny?
If you watched Happy Gilmore in '95, you know,
right.
It was just an excuse for Otis to do hip gyrations. You know what I'm saying? But they seem to be getting some chemistry. You know.
And I'll tell you what,
with Maxine,
this is good storytelling because they show Gable training her, right. And the finish to this match was Valhalla.
He was training her.
Right,
well, she used it in the match.
Right, she used it in the match. So she did the suplex to Valhalla. So that's
right.
Bro, this is simplistic storytelling, but it's story,
good. Right.
Storytelling. Right. You're making it like everything. It's like you can see why the show did a better rating because you're
connecting the dots and making it logical, and you're not guessing. Well, what happened? Did I miss something? Did I miss a show? No, I watch it every week. You know, it's like
Right. Quick side note here. Would you guys want Fandango on?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. He's been liking tweets and that from your guys' recent comments on him, so I figured I would reach out to him.
We'll see if he wants to. I'd like to have a conversation with that guy.
Yeah, he's had an interesting career for sure.
Finally, I will say this. Finally, the Viking Warriors won. They never win.
Never win, right? Yeah. So they went over. And actually, they kind of needed a win, and you didn't have to put the Alpha Academy over because they did the spot with the girl, which was like the story they were telling for this.
Right, and they're going to get over like Miz, because Otis is funny, and Gabe is entertaining, and he's a great wrestler, bro. Let me just say, Maxine, whatever she wore last week and this week, big fan of, and her facials are great.
Right.
She's
pretty hot too.
Yeah.
So the Judgment Day spoke backstage, and something we very rarely see, a little production glitch where Dom's mic wasn't on, and then like there was just you never see production glitches on the show like you do awkward outs and stuff, and there was a little minor production glitch, is why I noticed it. Dom said it didn't matter Cody picked because he wouldn't be on the same page like they are, and Ripley asked Balor and Priest if they're on the same page, and Balor kind of nonchalantly said we're cool. There was more feedback when Priest spoke, the more production glitch, and Ripley said good, and then added that she had her own business to handle with Natalya. So there's just continuing storytelling here. So Natalya was standing at the gorilla position when Kathy Kelly asked her about how her strategy would be different after Ripley dominated her Night of Champions. And now Natalya said that match rocked her to her core, and she said she needed to prove to Ripley she belongs while also proving it to herself. So she made her entrance and played to the crowd, was attacked from behind by Ripley before the bell. This was a good beating. You see what she threw into the I mean, bro, Natalya, how old is Natalya?
Got to be in her 40s.
She was taking some crazy, like she was rough. I was saying take care of her, but I guess she getting roughed up. Very weird little spot here. She threw. Okay, I noticed this, and I thought this was very weird looking, right? So Rhea threw Natalya into the ring, okay? Then Rhea jumped up onto the apron and landed on her side, but it looked like if she did it to where if you would have put your left hand and swung your feet up and okay, you put your left hand on the apron and you swing your right leg and your left leg up to your right side to slide up onto the ring. But she did it without putting her left hand on the apron. It was almost like an acrobatic. I was like, I rewound it 3 or 4 times to watch. I was like, wow, that was she's pretty athletic. I was like, yeah, right. Did you notice that too?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was like, they look weird. Like what was that? Was that like a Cirque du Soleil move or something, right?
Yeah.
So then she beat her up, and the producers ran in, and they go backstage to the gorilla position, and Raquel Rodriguez is there. So Ripley, after basically said she's going to step in the ring with Trish Stratus for the Money in the Bank qualifier coming up, and so.
She said something like she doesn't like bullies like Rhea, and then Rhea got in her face.
And then really, Rhea at the same time was coming back to the gorilla position and got right in her face, and they had a good face-off. Like I said, this is a very well-written show. You know, the dots connected very well in this.
You know what I thought when Natalia was kind of when they were interviewing her right before her match, and she was kind of like doubting herself. Yeah, I got to see if I still got it and all that. I thought she was going to go into the match, give her a really tough match, but lose. And people were like, no, you still got it. But no, she went in there, just destroyed her, bro.
Right.
And I just think I'm not against that. But again, I just think she deserves better. They just on her constantly.
Yeah. It seems like this is all part of an angle. I don't know if she'll come back more aggressive or whatever, but she's been doing interviews like that for a couple of weeks and Twitter videos and stuff. So,
okay.
Yeah, and then they'll do nothing with her after 3 months.
I agree.
So this show has been really good. But they go backstage, and Cody's warming up when Tozawa approached him and acted like a goof, asked if he was looking for a partner, and it's just overacted, just corny.
Right. That's his character.
The spot did not belong in this show, though. Then Owens and Zayn showed up, and Zayn said they got Cody's text, so we know where the text came from. Then Zayn said Cody helped them on the road to WrestleMania, and they wouldn't forget that. And Cody said Tozawa would be pissed off, and Owens got cut in and got all fired up because he thought they were partners; they'd be able to punch people in the face. And Cody said that they would be partners, and Owens was happy. And Zayn and Cody said they would see one another in the main event. So then Trish Stratus comes out with Zoe Stark. So this is more good storytelling here. So Zoe Starks is out there. Rodriguez, we get into the match like about 4 minutes in. Rodriguez blasts Stratus with a wicked suplex and followed up with a clothesline that sent Stratus to the floor. She throws her back in the ring, and while the referee was tending to Trish, Stark swept the leg of Rodriguez, who led to a near fall for Stratus. Then Becky Lynch ran out and attacked Stark. Then Lynch threw Stark into the barricade repeatedly. And then Trish left the ring and went after Lynch, who also threw in the barricade. And the referee called for the bell and disqualified Rodriguez due to Lynch's interference. And so basically, Trish gets the money to get to qualify for the Money in the Bank, and Raquel Rodriguez didn't. And then Lynch tried to explain herself to her and everything, and so now they got heat with each other, right? So what did you think of this?
Yeah, I liked it because now, you protect Rodriguez, but now there's heat between them two, and I would not mind if Smiley Lats would turn heel, you know. Mm-hmm. Because she's meant nothing as a babyface. Stratus' selling here was excellent. Did you see when she ragdolled her, when she got her in the bear hug and was ragdolling her? And then when he hit her with the clothesline, I mean, she almost folded her in half.
Right.
Stratus, for her age, and being out the ring as long as she has, kudos.
Right.
Yeah. I think she's 47 as well.
Yeah.
Who?
Trish.
Yeah, she looks fantastic.
She's 47.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, she was everybody's crush back in the day.
So this is a very simple but very good interview for Braun Breaker backstage, okay? Because he hasn't been on Raw, I think.
And well done.
Right. So Breaker, this is good. This is perfect verbiage. Breaker said Rollins surely wouldn't use this as an excuse to get out of their match when he's talked a big game about being a workhorse. So it's like, So Breaker said he hopes that doctors prescribe Rollins with enough courage to show up on NXT because he'll beat him to become the new World Heavyweight Champion. Very simple, but brother, continuing the story. This is all good stuff. They've built characters well where people can reference things that they've said and so they're doing pretty well here. I like it. So then, this did not make it to Hulu. Actually, the next two segments did not make it to Hulu, so I'm just going to ask you what happened here. Saxon asked Lynch backstage about inadvertently helping Stratus, and Lynch said she has enemies in damage control with Trish and Stark in the match. She said she would either climb the huge mountain and win the Money in the Bank, or she'd go down a blaze of glory and take Trish and Zoe with her. All right. I didn't see it, so I didn't. Then Shinsuke against Bronson Reed, and so they did more thing here. So Reed teased throwing Nakamura in the ring, but instead he turned and ran toward Ricochet. Oh, so Ricochet was doing commentary in this. Okay, he showed up at ringside because these three have been having issues with each other, right?
Right. They've been bringing their matches.
Right. So Nakamura seemed annoyed. Okay, when Ricochet got up, and Ricochet dared Nakamura to hit him. Then Reed grabbed Ricochet and shoved him in the ring steps, and Reed returned the ring and avoided charging Nakamura, who collided with Ricochet, who had climbed on the apron. Then Reed suplexed Nakamura and then hit the tsunami for the win. So they're all screwing each other up lately. So this is obviously led to some type of three-way. Did they already have a three-way dance?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
This is a Money in the Bank qualifying match. He avenges Money in the Bank qualifying match. That was the thing. This was revenge from the loss. So then they have Rollins backstage. He had a selfie update from a hospital. He said they made him get x-rays on his ribs. He said he didn't really give a damn what the doctor said. He would be at NXT to defend his championship against Braun Breaker. And Rollins said the Balor he sees is the guy who beat him 7 years ago, and he welcomed him back and said Money in the Bank can't get here soon enough. This is a good promo. Because it was like from the hospital. So they had the three, this is good stuff. So I'm wondering if they changed the writing team, because this is like a very detailed show with a lot of thread. Like, it just seemed like did this show stick out to you?
I just think that, no, I mean, they've been doing good stuff.
Well, maybe they changed the actual show writer, and the guy, whoever wrote this show is like, this is good stuff. So, because, like, bro, when we would book, we would come up with ideas, right? And concepts and stuff, everything like an angle, like this is the angle, this is the match, this is the thing. But Vince would write the show kind of similar to this sometimes, where there would be a thread. But we wouldn't, in the booking meeting, we wouldn't discuss how this thread is going to lead up to the match. Vince would fill stuff like write the show, and like sometimes it'd be a thread, stuff like this, like the Owens going backstage trying to control stuff. He'd write stuff like that, but that was just all Vince or Ed. If Ed was writing the show, they would come up, they would write the show. So
let me ask you a question.
This show, go ahead.
I read this on Twitter, and you would know this. They said that Russo came up with like that idea of, how they're doing now Adam Cole and MJF, and how they used to do like Steve Austin and Shawn Michaels, and the two guys that don't get along,
right?
That he came up with that.
ECW.
ECW.
Possibly, yeah. I don't know.
Candido and Storm.
Candido and Storm. Was
that?
That
was like, I think the bigger, you guys in WWE started doing that kind of shit after that. That's the first time I ever saw it. Was Candido and Lance Storm.
Interesting. So then we go to the main event. Rollins is going to be was on Pat McAfee on Tuesday?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know. Well, okay. Well, he was. So, so Cody Owens and Sami Zayn against Dominic Finn and Damian with Rhea at ringside. You just gotta watch the match, because there's a lot of near falls, a lot of saves, just very well structured. But basically, the end, the baby faces go over strong, where so Zayn ran the ropes and leapt over ducking Ripley onto Dom with a flip dive on the floor, and then Cody hit the Cody cutter on Priest for a near fall. Owens and Priest ended up fighting at ringside, and Priest rolled up Rolls for a near fall again. Then Priest went for a springboard move that cut Cody off, and Cody went for the pin, but Dom broke it up. Owens ran in, only to be tossed to the ringside by Dom. That was actually I'm watching that. I was like, wow, Dom looked really physically strong there when he did that, because Owens is a decent sized guy. Owens just went right out, that didn't look. It looked like Owens was helping him a little bit too much, there. It should have made I don't know, it looked like Dom. It looked like Dom was strong, stronger than he usually is.
Right.
Dom set up for 619 on Cody, but Zayn cut him off with a big clothesline. And then Zayn performed a hell of a haluva kick on Dom, and Owens put Dom down with a stunner, and then Cody hit the crosswords on Priest and pinned him. So they did not beat Dom. They beat Priest, who's going into the Money in the Bank ladder match.
Yeah.
And they basically had a stare down after the match. So a good show. I thought this was I was very impressed with the writing of the show, and the numbers showed it well. But I'm very, what I'm super impressed with? I don't think maybe his first or one or two times, maybe the first or second time he came out, he wasn't as comfortable on the mic. But, bro, Logan Paul cuts a great promo. But what do you think?
Right, well, he's a good talker. You see that on his podcast. You see him when he's selling his fights. He's a good talker naturally.
Right, and I think if I forget, didn't you start? I think you were kind of down on him a little bit at the beginning, warmed up to him as he got better. I'm just trying to recall that. I don't know. Because we didn't really know what to expect from this guy, but it's
right.
He's just killing. He's a draw. It's the guy took 5 matches. Yeah.
About this last match, he's incredible. He's over delivered. But just imagine all the knowledge and everything that Dominic is learning, being around all these other great wrestlers, how to put together a match, how to work a crowd, how to sell. Because when I first broke into the business, I only had a year. in the business, and they were putting him in with the biggest names in wrestling and the main events. And I learned really quick from them, where if I would have been in the first matches with people that had 1 year like me, my growth would have been slower. You know what I'm saying? So Dom's kind of getting the fast track. Did you see the way he sold the stunner?
Yes.
That was great. That's how you sell a stunner, bro. Scott Hall would sell it like that. The Rock would sell it like that.
Right.
Straight up and back.
Right.
You know? Great match, great ending.
Yeah.
Very good show. I agree with you.
Yes, that's been our Raw review.